This is quite a remarkable study, and brain cleaning is really the strongest or best term they should apply to this particular research. Now, keep in mind they're looking at rejuvenating aging brain cells. Now, as a caveat, this particular study was done with neurons in a dish, so we have a long ways to go before dosaging recommendations or even validation of these outcomes in a dish are translated into human trials. But just the same, brain cleaning is the term which fits this the best. Now, what they discovered is a substance called guanosine triphosphate. You may sound familiar to adenosine triphosphate, which is also energy for the cells, but guanosine triphosphate is particularly useful in helping clear away, waste proteins, so on and so forth, from the brain. Henceforth, brain cleaning. So without further ado, let's get right into the research as follows, and I'll show you some simple charts which help bring it all home. UC Irvine researchers find combination of natural compounds for brain cleaning. Researchers at the University of California have identified a promising non-pharmaceutical treatment that rejuvenates aging brain cells and clears the buildup of harmful proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. In a paper published recently in the Journal of GeroScience, the UC Irvine team reports that a combination of naturally occurring compounds, nicotinamide, a form of B3, and epigallocatechin gallate, familiar with green tea, can reinstate levels of guanosine triphosphate, an essential energy molecule in brain cells. In tests on neurons in a dish, so we say in vitro, the treatment reversed age-related cellular deficits and improved the brain cell's ability to clear damaging amyloid protein aggregates, the Alzheimer's hallmark. Now, what does that look like? Let's look at it real fast. There you are. Now, check this out. You look at the bar chart right there, you see that you are reading that right. The cellular levels basically were restored in regard to that energy, and that was the guanosine triphosphate, GTP. And it put a little note here in the interpretation that the old and treated neurons had critically low GTP levels, experiencing an energy crisis compared to young neurons. After 24 hours of treatment, the old neurons, the fuel tanks were completely refilled, restoring their energy levels to youthful levels. Again, these are neurons in a dish. Still just the same, quite amazing. Now the toxic waste, the cleanup, the autophagy. And if you look at it, you read the interpretation that GTP fuel restored the cell's cleaning crew, autophagy, and they got back to work. The treatment dramatically reduced the amount of amyloid-beta inside the cells, showing a direct link between the cellular energy and the waste removal. Now, that is quite amazing. So you're looking at right here, it's kind of clearing up all the waste, restoring that energy. And the raw data, if you want to see it, is as follows. All right, now we have a little limited time, so let's get right to the next phase, and it's still quite amazing. All right, the researchers used genetically encoded fluorescent sensor called GeroScience to track the live guanosine triphosphate levels in neurons from aged Alzheimer's model mice. They discovered that free GTP levels declined with age, particularly the mitochondria, the cell's energy hubs, leading to impaired autophagy, the process by which cells eliminate damaged components. But when aged neurons were treated within just 24 hours with nicotinamide and epigallocatechin gallate, the GTP levels were restored to those typically seen in younger cells. Back to that bar chart 1, which we discussed a few seconds ago. The revival triggered a cascade of benefits: improved energy metabolism, activation of key GTP acids involved in cellular trafficking, the RAB7, RALAB, and efficient clearance of amyloid-beta aggregates. Oxidative stress, another contributor to neurodegeneration, was also reduced. And we'll look at that chart in a second. It was about half. To proceed, quote, the study highlights that guanosine triphosphate, as previously underappreciated energy source driving vital brain functions, by supplementing the brain's energy systems with compounds that are readily available as dietary supplements, we may, and this is very postulating here, may have a new path toward treating age-related cognitive decline in Alzheimer's disease. Now let's look at those other charts as follows. Unclogging the cellular traffic, as you see bar chart grouping number 2. And you see right there how it describes it's kind of like putting the shipping label saying, hey, we've got to send this waste away. Boom, boom, boom. And then basically the reduction in oxidative stress, the cellular rust protection bar chart, and we're basically half the levels of oxidative damage. Again, this is a treatment in a dish with neurons, but yet the results were quite profound within just a short 24-hour period of time. Now, with oral consumption, digestion, metabolism, so on and so forth, we are a long way to go translating this into basically actual dosaging and so on and so forth. But to proceed forward as follows to the conclusion, treatment for just 16 hours with nicotinamide as a nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, very familiar term, precursor in combination with epigallocatechin gallate and NRF2 reducer restored the decline in guanosine triphosphate levels in advanced age in both genotypes, restored autophagic clearance of amyloid-beta and reversed levels of oxidized proteins to young age levels, boosting energy and redox homeostasis, and promising strategies to rescue hippocampal neurons from bioenergetic deficits in aging and earlier in Alzheimer's disease. Now, a little technical, but just the same, here we want to look at the chart. This is one of the takeaways. If I want to pause it here for a second and review what we just covered briefly, but still just the same, we're looking at an incredible combination of just nicotinamide, the B3, and that aspect of epigallocatechin gallate from green tea. If this works orally, per se, and doing the same job it did in a petri dish, wow, the number of lives that could be helped so dramatically. Brain cleaning will be the new phase, basically, potentially, in helping mitigate the possible effect of dementia and Alzheimer's disease in the future by just getting rid of these wasteful proteins that tend to clog up the mechanisms in you know where. Again, gratitude to the researchers. You have to really appreciate the studies that they're bringing to us, because these basically could put your health in your own hands. Incredible non-pharmaceutical approaches. And as always, I am humble you watch and look forward to see what you and I discover next week. All right, catch you all next time. See you there. Bye.